Excuse me, do you know why we pulled you over today? Exactly, it's because you're not subscribed. So you better fix that right now, or we're gonna have to take you. There's a lot that I want to say about the MacBook Air. Now, the MacBook Air is, it's the most iconic MacBook right now on the market. Like, without a doubt. Like, I feel like most people, when they think about a MacBook, they probably imagine either the entry-level MacBook Pro or the MacBook Air. One or the two. So, obviously, unless you're a professional, then it's probably the other Macs. Or the MacBook, the more expensive MacBook Pros. But I like, for a lot of people, I believe that for Macs in general, maybe it's the iMac, but iMac, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, entry level. Those are it, because like these are what you see in the wild, especially the MacBook Air and especially the MacBook Pro is what you see in the wild, and they have to get this right. Because they're going to, allegedly they're going to redesign it. And obviously, I think that's cool. But it's also a little bit dangerous. Like, not for me, but for Apple, right? Like, this is an iconic product. I feel like this was similar to what happened with the iMac. It was a risky move. Because everyone knew what an iMac looked like, right? If you walk into a hotel, or if you walk into a spa, or if you walk into whatever, like something that wants to have that premium look, you always have an iMac there. And it has that iconic look. And now it doesn't look like that anymore. That's a brand risk. Like, quite literally, it could be a brand risk. So, this is a very important redesign for Apple, because if you look at the previous MacBook Air redesign, that was heavy, but I don't know. You still have that wet shape, like, what is that called? The shape of the MacBook Air, right? The whole like illusion of it being this thin. I don't know how to call it, but it's the iconic shape of the MacBook Air. And people are saying that that's going to be gone. It's going to look more like how the more premium MacBook Pro look. And I think that's risky. I think that's pretty risky. I'm excited for it because I like that. I like the concept that has been going on, has been getting out. But I don't know if I am the target audience. I'm going to buy one. But, like, obviously, like, for the most part, this is for people, like, students, like, whatever. And, yeah, I think that's risky. Anyways, Sonia, please tell us more about this one.
M2 MacBook Air said to be among most likely WWDC hardware announcements. Apple AR/VR headset unlikely. Apple may unveil new Mac hardware at WWDC this year, with the redesigned MacBook Air being the most likely potential hardware announcement, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. In today's Power On newsletter, Gurman explained his expectations for potential Apple hardware announcements at this year's Worldwide Developers Conference, WWDC. Signs of Reality OS, the long-rumored operating system believed to run on Apple's mixed reality headset, were spotted in Apple's source code earlier this year, and there has been growing enthusiasm about Apple's AR and VR project finally approaching liftoff for launch this year. Rumors of Apple announcing its headset soon.
Wait, I thought this was about the MacBook Air. Oh wait, it's about the Apple AR VR headset. Oh, okay. I didn't flipping know that. Germangus Galactus has entered the building. Yes, he did. He did enter the building. Anyways, let's just skip the one about the whole thing, because like that's great and all. We just talked about that. That's great. That's also great. Okay.
Gurman previously reported that the launch of the headset, including Mac-related announcements, are reportedly more likely at WWDC this year, should Apple unveil any new hardware, according to Gurman. He believes that Apple planned to launch a new MacBook Air model with the M2 chip at WWDC this year, but supply chain issues seem to have complicated the timeline.
Yeah, it probably has complicated the timeline, and I'm going to tell you why. So these problems of, like, obviously supply chain it is problematic and probably it's also kind of fixed now. Not as fixed as Apple probably want it to be, but if I'm not mistaken, news has leaked about the M2 that they're going to stick to the 5nm node from TSMC to have enough supply to at least get the initial batch out there, and then slowly but surely get the rest their MacBook as well. Now, for a lot of people that is disappointing. I feel like these chips are already super fast, and for a MacBook Air, I think it's fast enough for 99% of people's use cases for this MacBook. So yes, maybe if you're going to look forward into whatever the entry-level MacBook Pro, yeah, okay, maybe some people want to have more efficiency, maybe they want to see a bigger leap forward, but I'm just gonna say it, these chips are already very powerful, and they're very, I feel like they're the most efficient desktop chips out there. So yes, it could be better, and yes, a lot of people want to see that leap forward, right? But I just don't feel like we should constantly be looking for that insane leap forward. These devices are not built to constantly upgrade every single year or every 2 years. This is a device that you keep for 3, 4, 5 years. Obviously, if it's up to Apple, you buy a new one every single time you have to recharge it, right? But just consumers, to consumers, this is not built for that, and that's important to understand. This chip is an upgrade, and M2 POG, yeah, it is POG. It definitely is POG, and it will be more advanced than the M1. But yeah, for supply chain issues, because of supply chain issues, I feel like they stick with the 5nm node, and to explain why, you have to look at anything beyond that, anything smaller than that. It's not possible. It is not possible. If you do that, it would mean that you can build about 3 MacBook Airs, and that's it. One for Tim, and one for the testing team, and maybe one to sell. That's it. So this is the reason why it's probably not going to happen with that 4 or 3nm node. So yes, supply chain issues. No, I don't feel like it's going to be as impactful as a lot of people are saying, because it's the exact reason why Apple stuck with TSMC to the 5nm node, allegedly, right? Maybe they didn't, I don't know. But it does make sense that they did that to make sure people are actually able to buy the fucking device, right? Anyways, let's keep it pumping.
He believes that Apple planned to launch a new MacBook Air model with the M2 chip at WWDC this year, but supply chain issues seem to have complicated the timeline. If there's any hardware at WWDC, it will likely be on the Mac side. The company has been aiming to launch the next MacBook Air with M2 chips at the conference. The recent supply chain crunch due to COVID-related closures in China has complicated that, but developers say that Apple employees are increasingly using next-generation MacBook Airs with their apps. That's a sign that the new Mac is close.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he say that he already had information out there that the M3 was being tested? That's insane. But that would probably be the 3nm leap ahead, right? For now, just to know that the M2 is coming, I think that's great news. I think that's great news because Intel is catching up, obviously not on efficiency but on speed and performance. They do, unless you unplug it. Anyways, fuck it. They're catching up, right? And AMD, AMD already catched up. It's time. It's time for something that moves us ahead a little bit. And is it going to be the insane leap that we're going to be expecting? Probably not, but it's going to be cool. And I'm just, especially for an Air, for the use cases for an Air, I think this is perfect. So yeah, for me, this is great. I don't know if you guys feel like you need more out of this. But for me, this is great. This is great, especially for a MacBook Air. This is great. This is insane. I can't wait for Monday. No, same. Like, this is like WWDC is going to slap different this year. It's going to slap different. Okay. Need the MacBook Air, dude. Need it. Exactly. Need it. It's crazy. And obviously, we have to look into whatever else is coming to this MacBook Air. Because apparently,